Hello, 6th grade Bobcats, Mr. Flato here. Welcome back to what will hopefully be a fantastic week for you and I and everybody at the Helena Middle School. On this week's B.O.B Lesson, I'm going to be talking about what happens when people disrespect you and giving you some strategies on how to maneuver those situations. Unfortunately, in life, we have people who are disrespectful, and that's at any school you go to, any job you go to. When you become an adult, you're just going to run into people that are disrespectful at times, and that can be very frustrating. It can be not such a good feeling. So on this B.O.B lesson today, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and give you guys some strategies on how to maneuver and navigate that and get through it. So I hope you guys like this B.O.B lesson. Hope you guys make it a great week at the Helena Middle School. Let's buckle up and get rocking and rolling on this B.O.B lesson. All right, this week's B.O.B lesson is going to be talking about strategies for responding to disrespect. But first, let's be our best this week at HMS. Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be respectful, and let's be a learner. So, as I've said before, unfortunately, we are all human beings. Unfortunately, us as human beings, we make mistakes. Sometimes people have bad days and don't handle their negative emotions and negative energy appropriately. And oftentimes, when we are not handling our negative emotions or our negative energy appropriately, this can come off as disrespect to other people or spewing that disrespect onto other people. In the counseling world, we call this projection. We take our negative energy, our negative emotions, and sometimes we snap and we disrespect other people, and there's somewhat of a transference of that negative energy from us onto someone else. And so when this happens, what should we do? All right, but first, before we talk about strategies, let's talk about what someone who's being disrespectful really wants to see happen. Because in order to understand how we should react, we first need to understand what someone who is acting disrespectfully really wants to see as an end result. Okay? 9 times out of 10, they want to see you get upset. They want to see you get sad. They want to see you get angry. They want to see you get embarrassed. They want to see you become insecure, etc., etc. So the last thing you should do is give into the disrespect and give them the result they are really looking for. That is the key to this whole thing, is we are not going to give in and give them the desired result, which is what they want. When we give them the result they're looking for, it only further encourages the behavior because they see it as working, and it increases the likelihood that they will continue to do it. Okay, now I'm getting a little artistic here. I've said it a million times. I'm not an artistic person. This is not my strength, but I also know we have some visual learners out there, so I'm doing this for you guys. Okay, when we're talking about somebody having a bad day and not handling it in an appropriate manner, what we're really talking about is a term we use in the counseling world called projection. Okay, and this projection essentially is when somebody's not feeling very good and they take those negative emotions, they take those negative energies, and they dump that onto somebody else. So now somebody else is feeling kind of crummy and now they're feeling good. It's kind of like taking the garbage out. You have a stinky garbage in your room or in your office, and you take that garbage out and you put it into the big garbage can. I'm projecting all of that negativity onto somebody else. I'm getting it off of me and onto somebody else. So you can see I got 2 stick figures here. I got one in red, one in yellow. Yellow person is having a great day. Red person not so much. So they take that ickiness and if you follow it up the tube into the arrow there, they're going to try to put it onto somebody else. So what ends up happening? Well, that disrespect ends up happening. Now, person number 1 that used to be red, now they're feeling kind of sunshiny yellow. They're feeling good. They disrespected somebody else. And now the person that they disrespected, all of that got put onto the person that in the previous slide here was feeling all sunshiny, and now they're feeling kind of gloomy and not doing so well. So what do we want to have happen? We don't want to let somebody put their baggage or put their bad day onto us. We want them to have it go up and come down and miss us. Okay, I hope you guys like this little artistic thing. I hope that wasn't a complete fail with my stick figures. Anyways, so let's talk about how we do this. Tip number 1, we got to review this. This is stop, walk, and talk. Stop, walk, and talk is an awesome way to handle these situations for a lot of reasons. It's still my favorite way to handle disrespectful behavior because you clearly communicate to other people that you do not appreciate the disrespectful behavior that is going on and that you're not going to tolerate it. You hold your ground and you let them know in a responsible, non-combative way that you're not going to be disrespected. It clearly communicates to the other party that their disrespect is not acceptable, and it shows the other party that you will not be an easy target to spew or to project their negative energy and emotion onto. Let's review really quick. You can say stop many different ways. Remember to find a way that is genuine and authentic to you. Hey, I don't appreciate whatever that behavior is. Please stop. What you were doing is really bothering me. Please stop. Please stop that. I don't appreciate being disrespected. Please don't disrespect me like that. Hey, I'm not cool with you, whatever that behavior is. I'd appreciate being treated with more respect than that. Or when you, whatever that behavior it is, that really bothers me. Please stop. The most important thing is to do something that's genuine and authentic that works for you. Do something that fits the situation. Again, to review, you say stop, and if the behavior doesn't stop, then you calmly walk away and put time and distance between yourself and whoever is disrespecting you. If they follow you or that disrespectful behavior continues, then we want to tell an adult. Tip number 2, ignore the disrespectful behavior. Ignoring the disrespectful behavior is a great strategy to use because you're refusing to give the other party what they want. Remember, the other party wants to project and put it onto you, which is seeing you get upset, seeing you get sad, seeing you get angry, embarrassed, insecure, etc. You not only are failing to give the disrespectful party what they want, but you're not giving them anything at all when you are ignoring them. It's like you put up a wall and you shield it. In a way, your response is implicitly saying, not only am I not going to give you what you want, but it bothers me. Whatever you are doing to try to disrespect me, it bothers me so little, it's not even worth me responding to. And if you think about that, that's a very powerful message to send. Think of disrespect as a fire. Fire needs fuel to continue burning. When you don't put fuel on the fire, it'll dissipate and it'll burn out. So how do we put fuel on the fire? We put fuel on the fire by getting upset, by getting sad, by getting angry, by getting embarrassed, by getting insecure, and giving the disrespectful party what they want. So tip number 2, ignore the disrespectful behavior. If you can get this down, you'd be so pleasantly surprised at how well it works. Tip number 3, use humor to diffuse the disrespect. This strategy works very much like tip number 2 in the fact that it doesn't give the disrespectful party what they want. It doesn't put fuel on the fire. We just talked about that. And instead of ignoring, your response sent an implicit message that I'm not getting upset, angry, insecure, or agitated by your comment or behavior. I'm actually going to do the opposite. I'm so secure that I'm going to crack a joke and laugh about this with you. You're not going to ruin my day or get under my skin. Or you're nowhere near taking the disrespectful person seriously. When we use humor to respond from the disrespectful behavior, again, it's not giving the disrespectful party what they want. Some people have a really good sense of humor like myself. This is something that I used growing up and I still use to this day. I'll crack a joke, I'll put it on me, I'll even try owning it. Yeah, I am super tall and clumsy when I'm refereeing sometimes, or whatever. Yeah, I did trip and fall on the floor. I tripped on that line right there. Whatever it is, you own it, you laugh about it, and when you're doing that, you're not letting somebody get under your skin and give them what they want. All right, this week's quote of the week comes from Miss Eleanor Roosevelt, and this quote is, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And that word inferior for some of you that may not be familiar with that vocabulary term, means you don't feel good enough. And that's what disrespectful behavior is really about, is we have one party trying to project onto somebody else and trying to make them feel inferior, trying to make them feel inferior than their best. And what this quote is trying to say is that nobody can do that unless you let them. Okay? And And I think that's very important, to never let anybody disrespect you, but to stand your ground and to handle it appropriately. And like my stick figure showed, just kind of step to the side and not let somebody spew that disrespect onto you. All right, this week's Jellybean Question of the Week winners are Mike Lashinsky, Jaden Graywatts, Savannah Osterling, Mason Rausch, Kylie Wetzel, and Eli Bowen. What I did, folks, is the answer was both 2 and 3. I didn't know if you guys could see that that was actually plugged, that didn't go through to 3. I didn't think that was going to be viewable on the Bob lesson, but some of you were very observant and saw that. So I just took some answers from 2 and 3, and I rewarded 6 people, 3 of each. This week's Jellybean Question of the Week is, Mr. Smith has 4 daughters. Each of his daughters has a brother. How many total children does Mr. Smith have? If you think you know the answer, get it turned into the Bob box by Friday. All right, folks, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.